When you take a look at these three cabinets, you might not think at first that they have something very, very important that they have in common, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin. I talk about Arcade1up kind of a lot on this channel, so if you're interested in that subject, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos. But let's jump right in. First, I want to talk about Outrun. So this is a newer cabinet that Arcade1up came out with, and some people are worried about it. Is this something that they want to buy? Now, it did sell out on their website, and it's no longer available, but don't worry, it's going to be available to retailers very soon, hopefully as soon as maybe December. I don't know, may go into January, but there's going to be another run of these cabinets, and there's going to be multiple designs. So right now they have a sit-down version, and that's what the pre-order was for, but they're actually going to have a stand-up version that has pedals down at your feet, and you can play it that way. So let's talk more about these other cabinets. So Star Wars was the cabinet that came out last year, and it was really good. A lot of people were surprised on how well it performed. Now, this was a new cabinet that had a yoke on it, and it was a very different type of game because prior to there, they just had games with like a trackball and a joystick. But would they do a good job? Would they have the higher quality? Well, the reason why they actually did have a pretty good quality was because they outsourced the emulation of this to a company called CodeMystics. A lot of people think that they're actually running MAME on that cabinet, but it's actually running an emulator that's designed by the company CodeMystics. Now, they've been in the industry for a very long time. The developers that work there, some of them have been working on video game emulation since 1994. And the emulator that they released is cross-platform, so it can even run on a browser, in fact. So they've been working on that for a while. They've made games for Switch. They've made games for like Nintendo DS. And they use this focal emulator that emulates these games, and they've been enhancing it for a very, very long time. So because it's cross-platform, it's something that they can put on an Arcade1up that runs a Linux-based single-board computer that's like an ARM-based processor. But could they dial it in so it would work really, really well? And how would they do that? Well, what CodeMystics did is that they worked with Arcade1up, and Arcade1up actually shipped them an original Star Wars arcade cabinet so they could play those original Atari games with a vector graphics monitor and then try to emulate it. And I think CodeMystics did such a great job on that cabinet because if you look, there's even in-game menus that look just like the dip switches, the dip menu that an arcade owner would go into and make adjustments. And now they had all these additional adjustments where you could adjust the emulation for the vector graphics. And that's really cool because, the Arcade1up monitor is a 17-inch monitor. It's an LCD. It's not a vector graphics monitor. You're going to have some compromise there. So it's really good that the user can go in there and dial those in really, really well and get it just how they wanted. So now I want to talk about NBA Jam. Now, this was another cabinet that had a lot of new features in it. Most importantly, it could do online gameplay, and they added scanline features, in-game menu settings. Well, you know why it had all those rich features? CodeMystics, again, were the ones that were responsible for doing the emulation for the NBA Jam cabinet. And in the beginning, when that was announced, people were worried about how that netcode would work. Well, you know what? CodeMystics has built that software, have been working on it for a very long time, in fact, and they've integrated that with other games on other platforms, and Arcade1up is just a new customer. So they're the ones that manage the back end. And in fact, when there was an issue with desyncing, some people would play the game from other parts of the country, and it would seem like they just raged quit or something, but that's not actually what happened. There was actually a desync issue. There was a bug in the software, but CodeMystics almost immediately said, we're going to fix that bug, and they did an over-the-air update because they were the ones that were managing the software for that Arcade1up cabinet. They really reacted to the community and said, yes, we're going to fix this, and they were the ones that executed that. So that was really, really good. So coming down to Outrun, we're all the way back. Do you know why I'm excited? Because Outrun, CodeMystics is the one that did the emulation for the Outrun Sega cabinet. That's really exciting because now the Outrun cabinet is similar to Star Wars because it has a steering wheel. And well, but more importantly, it's going to have those in-game menu options. We've been told already from Arcade1up it will have scan lines. It'll have some sort of dip switches so you can go in. And in fact, it's going to have 4 games on it. But also, John D has teased that there's actually an Easter egg on the Outrun cabinet, something that's not listed that, they're going to be surprised that it has this feature. So we're really excited about to figure out what that is. So, and you know, there's a lot of different companies that do the emulation for Arcade1up. It's not just Code Mystics, so they outsource that to various different companies, and that's basically what Arcade1up does. They manage the marketing, they manage the communication to the distribution, they manage the communication to the manufacturers and the retailers. So if you picked up maybe one of the first generation or wave one, as they call it, like the original Pac-Man or the original Street Fighter, and you're like, man, I don't really like the controls or the buttons or the monitor, there's some light bleed on it, doesn't look very good, there's a little bit of shimmering. Let me tell you, the latest generation Arcade1up cabinets are really, really good. They have a 4x3 monitor. They output at 960p, so that's like the perfect resolution for these old video games because it's 4 times scaling. A lot of those original arcade ROMs were around 240 lines of pixel, and so you times that by 4, you get 960. So, you know, it's integer scaling, so they're not stretching any of it, and they're actually putting it on a monitor that is 4x3, just like the resolution of the original arcade cabinets. Many of them were like that. And so some people have complained about how sometimes they've mixed horizontal games with vertical games, and I think that is a problem. I think they should just stick to, hey, if you're going to do a cabinet, do all vertical games if it's a vertical game, and then if it's horizontal, do all horizontal, because then the aspect ratio is going to be pretty nice. And another thing that they've been kind of having a problem with is some of the newer Pac-Man cabinets actually have bilinear filtering turned on by default, and so you have no option to turn that off. But they're going to do a firmware update because people complained and said, hey, I'd love to just have pixel perfect. So pretty soon, all those Pac-Man cabinets from those newer generations that have that bilinear filtering turned on, they're going to be able to turn that off, and then you can go to pixel perfect, and you can really, really enjoy these old games on an LCD if that's your flavor. And I think that's really cool. So that's all the time I have to talk about it. You know, I've ranted long enough. So thank you so much for
this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Wow, that was odd. Sorry you had to see that. What I meant to say was, look at this photograph! No, that's not what I'm saying. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Actually, comment down below. Tell me what you think about this video, about the idea of, what's this video about again? I've been editing it for the last hour. Oh yeah, Code Mystics and yada, 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 them doing cool stuff with the cabinets. And, you know, Outrun might actually be really good because Code Mystics did it. That's pretty sweet, right? And I hear they got another cabinet coming out soon. I wonder what it is. Did you see it in the video? Did you notice? Comment down below. Let me know if you saw that little Easter egg that I put in the video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And I think there's one more thing. Oh, that's right. We'll see you guys on the next one. That was a really weird take, but you know what? I'm keeping it in. This is the one I'm going to use. I'm using this one. See you guys. Bye.